Check. It just turned up a little loud.
Check.
No, that's down there. I didn't want to walk we need to stop that feedback, don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you still hear us, Leo?
Is it these?
Yeah, and you are live.
Check, check. Okay, this is me.
Yep.
Test 1, 2.
Just take the high end down.
Yeah. Check, check, check. Test 1, 2. Testing. Testing 1, 2. Now we're cleaning up a little bit.
It's okay. It's perfection. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Is that all right? You guys can hear that, can you? Seems okay.
That's good. Can you still hear us, Leo? Test, test.
How about you?
Yep.
Yep. You good? You
Are you?
listening? Good.
Oh, they're all coming from where? Because
No. That's Leo.
yeah, that's the podcast stuff.
Test. Leo, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, I think we got the
Thank you.
feedback thing worked out.
Vic saved us.
How you guys doing?
I hope we're live.
This is a great weekend, am I right? I am so happy that each and every one of you have come out today. We've had people drive down. Several people came over and said they drove down from like 2 or 3 hours away. And I am
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
honored and humbled that each of you are here. So get some good questions ready, right? We're gonna talk about whatever you want to talk about.
They drove 3 or 4 hours to see you?
Well, I think they came to see you, but I just was here.
I was just going to say, Jeff and I drove 20 hours. Just to see you.
I love you guys. We should karaoke. Don't you think we should karaoke?
Oh, you don't want to hear me sing.
I think this room would be great for karaoke.
Don't you though?
I feel like the
acoustics
reverb.
is
I
good.
feel like the ambience in this room.
Right? I agree. I think we should get Vic a little piano and he can
Ooh, we
sing
could
to
do that.
everybody.
Just a small town girl
Keep it going.
living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy. You can do better. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Better.
Much.
Good job, guys.
So how we doing, Georgia? Oh, come on. I heard you guys were loud. How we doing, Georgia? Right. So
You know what? You guys are really lucky that we're broadcasting this on a live stream because I am not much of a get up on the stage guy. I like coming down there and walking around and talking with you guys down there. So you're lucky.
Well, that's
that,
okay.
that I have to stay here right now.
Well, we'll do one better than that. How's this?
What?
So if any of y'all got a question for Vic, we'll bring you up here.
Ooh!
You got a question?
He's already ready to roll.
Side stage, brother, right over here. Come on up. We're gonna put you on camera. We're gonna make you famous.
Yeah.
I just love that towel wrapped around his waist. That's a Broly towel right there. That's a Broly towel.
Right.
Have a seat, buddy.
Take
This is so
Take
great.
a seat.
Wow.
Hi, Vic. I have a simple question. I'm not going to say that. What would you say if I used the word pipsqueak?
I see what you're trying to do there. You see what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to get me to freak out like Edward Elric does in
You're not
Fullmetal
gonna do it?
Alchemist.
You're not going to do it? You are the best, Vic.
Notice how I did this. I would be paying for this microphone right now if I did that in the microphone.
Or a speaker. Oh, man. You're awesome, man.
You're awesome. Give it. You know what? This guy joins me every week in my live stream. His screen name is Banner Buster. How many banners have you busted?
Well, it's meant to be as opposed to Hulk Buster.
Ah, as in David Banner?
Well, yeah, it's Bruce.
Ah, Bruce Banner. Wait.
That was the show from the 70s.
Ah, nice. Well, this guy's awesome. If you see him around the con, say hello to him, okay? Thank you, buddy. Give it up for him.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll talk afterwards. So there you go. Anybody else want to do that? Anybody else want to do that? Come on, I see people out there. Everybody's itching. Come on. Let's make this fun. This is interaction,
Hey, I have
baby.
an idea. You know what else? I have a good
We're
idea.
renegotiating our contract after this.
I have a
Just
good
letting you know.
Hey, I have a good idea.
Come on up. What do you got?
After him, why don't you go down there like Phil Donahue and take
Well,
questions?
that's because the camera's here and they're all facing you because you're the important person,
Oh.
apparently.
No. Hey!
So we're gonna do this.
Hello. How's it going? It's going good. How
So-
are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing great, man. You're doing great.
So,
Does this guy look great or what? There's some good cosplay right here.
so my question here is, out of all the lines you did in Persona 3 for Junpei, what was your favorite?
I'll tell you guys something. This is going to be an opportunity to talk about voice acting a little bit. You know, one of the fun things about voice acting, how many of you have ever done like a stage play? You ever been in a theater play or maybe a church production or something, and you have to memorize your lines, right? Well, when you're a voice actor, you don't have to memorize your lines because you're not on stage, right? You're just behind a microphone. So you can have your lines in front of you. So that's the good thing. The bad thing is that if you do the line right the first time, you'll never say it again. Which means that 5 years later, when someone says, hey, what was your favorite line from such and such? And you're like, I don't even remember what I said. However, having said that, there are some lines that Junpei from Persona said that I did learn because he did them a lot, and those are my favorites. There is obviously, dun, 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 Junpei is leveled up. That's a good one. And then there's Junpei's Believe It or Don't, right? Do you have a favorite?
Ace Detective line.
Oh, let me hear you do it. Yeah, let me hear you do it. Right?
Right? Let's do it.
Little encouragement, guys. Come on. See, now you feel my pain. So, how does it go? How does the line go? There you go, do it.
Junpei Iori, Ace Detective.
Yeah!
Good job, man. Thank you.
So you guys, let me, while you're formulating questions, let me just tell you a little bit. As I said, I've been voice acting for a little over 20 years, and I've done over 400 different animated series and video games. I started back in Houston, Texas, and back then, anime was very small. Like, it was kind of a little niche thing, and there wasn't a lot of it mainstream. So I was very lucky to kind of get in on it on the ground floor, right? But then over the years, I just kept working, and anime kept growing, and I was just fortunate enough to be involved in a lot of it, and it's been a great blessing in my life. And you guys have been the biggest blessing of all. I gotta tell you something. When I was a little boy, I used to go to Star Trek conventions. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can thank Star Trek for why there are even Comic-Cons today.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't even realize that. Back in the early 70s, a bunch of Star Trek fans got together, wanted to celebrate this thing that they loved, this TV show, and they rented a ballroom at a hotel and invited some of the actors from the original series of Star Trek, and they made the first convention. And for several years, all of the fan-driven conventions were pretty much Star Trek conventions. And then from there, it started branching out into sci-fi, gaming, horror,
Anime.
anime, anything. Now there's a convention for everything, but it started with Star Trek. And when I was a little boy, my mom would take me to Star Trek conventions. Now, she hated Star Trek. So she would drop me off at the front door and she'd come back and get me. But I would go and I would walk up to autograph tables and I'd be like, oh, it's Mr. Spock, right there, Mr. Spock, it's Dr. McCoy. Oh. And I was just like the biggest fan. And I came to love conventions. So now fast forward 40 years, 45 years. And I've had the privilege to be on the other side of the table because of my work in anime and even Star Trek. So I have a real special love in my heart for conventions, and I understand that passion and that fire that drives people to the things that they love, you know? And so it's such a joy to be a part of it. And I want you guys to know how much your support and your kindness and enthusiasm for my work over the years has meant to me. You could never put a dollar value on it. I consider you guys a great, great blessing from God in my life, and I want to thank you for that.
So,
anyone have a question?
Well, I know there's questions coming in from the internet, and I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
But you recently played, Capricorn and Star.
Yes.
And you have a tour that you guys do?
Oh my goodness, I should talk about that, shouldn't I?
You should.
You know why I should really talk about this is because we're in Georgia right now.
Right.
Okay. I created a web series, a live action web series called Star Trek Continues. Now, a lot of you may be anime fans, but you may not be Star Trek fans, but I bet your mom or dad is, or your uncle, or your school teacher, or your neighbor. If they are, you go home and you tell them StarTrekContinues.com. We rented a building in South Georgia, in the state we're in right now, and we rebuilt the entire soundstage from the original series of Star Trek, just like the original series. And then we proceeded to shoot 11 full-length live-action episodes that pick up where the original Star Trek was canceled. I don't know if you know that or not, but the original Star Trek series was supposed to be a 5-year mission, and it was only on television for 3 television seasons. And then the next time you saw Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock was 10 years later in Star Trek The Motion Picture. So my idea was, why don't we pick up where the original series was canceled, finish the 5-year mission, and then leave everybody where they were when the motion picture came out. So that's what we've done. And we have over 15 million viewers.
I'm one of them. I've watched them all.
And check them out. And by the way, they're all free. Not trying to get any money out of your pocket. It's all because of my childhood love of Star Trek. We made this to say thank you, to pay tribute to this show that so many of us loved when we were young. Now, what he mentioned was the studio where we shot our series is still standing. It's as beautiful as it ever was. And one weekend a month, we open it up for free for people to walk through and take pictures and videos on the original Enterprise from Star Trek. It's in Kingsland, Georgia. And if any of this sounds interesting to you, go to neutralzonestudios.com. I'm looking right into the barrel of the camera right now. www.neutralzonestudios.com. They are the people that own and run the studio now. And starting in September, next month, one weekend every month, September, October, November, December, January, February, we will be opening up the studio, and I come down personally and give tours of the sets and answer all kinds of questions, tell you about how we built this and how we did that and where that came from. You can sit in the captain's chair on the bridge of the Enterprise. Did you ever think you could do that? How cool, right? You could go home and tell your dad, hey, Dad, You want to go to the Enterprise from the original series of Star Trek? We can make that happen. All free of charge. It's all just for love of Star Trek. So check it out. Check out our series at StarTrekContinues.com and check out the sets at NeutralZoneStudios.com. Anybody have a question?
We do have one on the internet, so go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, actually, there's a bunch. I just texted them all with you, but we'll start with this one. Favorite Star Trek moment and why?
Oh my gosh. Favorite Star Trek moment from my series or favorite Star Trek moment from Star Trek?
Either or.
It wasn't special. Well, from your series, I think it would be all of them.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. It would be hard to pick something from my series because I was intimately involved in every element of our series. Playing Captain Kirk was probably one of the, you know how you had like childhood heroes, right? Captain Kirk was my childhood hero. When I was 9 and 10 years old, my dad left. It was just me and my mom. And we had a little black and white television, 19-inch black and white television. We didn't even have a table to put the television on. It sat on the floor in the living room. And I would come home from school every day and do this. And watch Star Trek in black and white. And Captain Kirk kind of became, a father figure in some ways, a role model to me, a hero. So when 40 years later, I got the chance to put on that uniform and pay tribute and say thank you to that character and that TV show, that was like the most amazing experience of my life. And I think when you go home and if you look up our episodes, StarTrekContinues.com, by the way, like I said, all free to watch, I think you can probably even feel it. I think you can tell that the people that are making it loved what they were doing, That's my favorite moment from more present day. I think my favorite moment from the original series was just discovering it for the first time, the first time you find something that really resonates with you. When you're younger, you don't really know what you like. You don't know what your interests are. You don't really know whether you have certain talents for certain things. Are you a good artist? You don't know. You've never drawn anything, right? Are you a good singer? You don't know. You've never tried to sing anything. But then there's that one moment in your life, right? Where you are exposed to a TV show or a movie or music or a video game or anime or a comic book or a sport, something inside you lights up. And you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to make that. I want to build this. I want to be a part of that. I want to draw that. And there's a little voice in your head that goes, you've never drawn anything in your life. Who do you think you are? You're not an artist. But you know what? You tell that voice to shut up, right? And you do it anyway, and what do you find out? You find out that you have a natural talent for drawing, or for singing, or for playing an instrument, or for doing a sport, or for dancing, or for writing stories, or for acting. That's what Star Trek did for me. It kind of jump-started my creativity. When I was a little boy, I didn't really have any interest in anything. And I'm sure if we went around the room, all of you have something in your lives that you discovered that just lit you up. You know what I mean? It just really got you excited. A lot of people are here today, right? Because they have a passion and an interest in a lot of these things, a lot of these movies and shows.
So,
question?
Anybody have questions out there? What, you want to come up?
Come on up. Come on up.
Now
that's some good cosplay. Give it up for our Naruto cosplayer here. He's not Naruto, he's from the show Naruto. Don't anybody go, Vic doesn't even know who that is. That's not Naruto. Hey, come on, have a seat.
So, who was your favorite character to voice act and why?
For the longest time, I was always afraid to answer that question. Because if you play a bunch of characters, right? And you're like, you see this kid right here. See this guy?
Yeah.
If he were to come up to my table and he were to go, who's your favorite character you ever played? Now, he's dressed as Junpei from Persona, a character I played. Now, something in my head goes, he would love it if I said Junpei, right? So I'd be like, dude, I love me some Junpei Iori. And he gets excited about that, right? You come to my table, I take one look at this guy, and he goes, who's your favorite character you ever played? I'm like, Obito, Nagato from Naruto, right? So I used to try to do that all the time, kind of get a cue from the people that I was talking to. But then something happened. When we finished the last episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I decided that I could no longer deny that Edward Elric, the Full Metal Pipsqueak, was my favorite character. I love that little shrimp. I do. And I love the show. It's just such a great series.
I love the show as well.
I know. I can't deny it. He's my favorite.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Give it up for him.
So we are running short on time.
This is the shortest panel ever.
Yeah, that's because we had to squeeze a ton of panels in. But
Are we out of time already?
I'm going to give you a few more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we got some other questions here.
Because I like you.
Well, thank you. Who's it? This guy right here. Wait, I almost remember his name. It starts with an X. Zarin.
All right, well, you're
Come on up. Let's get the coolest name.
contestant on The Price is Right.
I'm changing my name after I leave here today to his name. This is really cool.
It's Xylan.
Is that cool or what? Spell it for him.
Xylen.
Xylan. Oh, yeah. Xylan Mignogna. Yeah, it's got a ring, doesn't it? Got a ring.
Got a ring to it.
Movie Brothers. Okay, what's your
All right.
question?
Speaking of Full Metal,
Yes.
what's your favorite character in Full Metal other than Edward?
Ooh. Alphonse.
Alphonse?
How could it not be? Because you know what? Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do.
I do not. I'm an only child. And I always wanted a little brother.
Mhm.
I mean, like, since I was a little kid, long before I did any voice acting. I always thought if I could have a sibling, any sibling, older brother, older sister, younger sister, I would love to have a younger brother. Because I would love to be able to like teach him to play sports, you know what I mean? And show him how to do things. And, you know, he'd kind of look up to me to help him and everything. And then Fullmetal Alchemist gave me the chance to kind of experience having a little brother.
That's precious.
And you know, in the original Fullmetal, the kid that played Alphonse was an actual little boy. Did you know that? His name was Aaron Dismuke. He was actually 12 years old when he voiced Alphonse. And we would do conventions together. And here'd be this little 12-year-old kid sitting beside me, and I would help him learn to sign his name for autographs. And we would go, you know, and have dinner. And he was like a real, genuine little brother to me. So I think I'd have to say Alphonse for those reasons.
That's great. That's amazing.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Give it up for him. Give it up.
So our next panel is about till 3:30. So I saw other hands up there for questions. Do you know which
In
one
the
was
back
first?
there.
Which one was first?
Come on up here, big man. Oh, I know this guy.
No, you. Rick? Oh,
I know
sorry, I
this
didn't see
guy.
him. You're next.
I know this guy. Have a seat, bud. What's your name? Dion. Say hi to Dion, you guys.
Hey, dude.
Well, yeah, well,
What's your question, man?
What was your favorite One Piece moment?
One Piece moment. This guy came up behind me in that aisle right down there, right? And he said, "Can you talk like Samo?" Am I right? What's my favorite One Piece moment? You know what? I think one of my favorite One Piece moments, well, did you know that I sang 3 of the One Piece theme songs? I sang I think back to the time when my search first began. You know that song? Do you know, come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams, right? And then there was another one called A to Z. You can't stop me now, I'm always going. A to Z, run without stopping. So I sang all three of those theme songs, and I think that might even be my favorite part of One Piece, is because I got to actually bring some of music that I love and singing into anime. What was one of your favorite moments in One Piece?
When Luffy went Gear 5 against Kaido.
It's a good one. That's a good one. Give it up for him, man. Give it up for Dion.
And then we'll finish with you. So, yeah, no, come on up.
Come on up. This is a mixture of cosplays, right?
Yep, that's right. It is Sailor Mars plus Kizaru Goku. Sailor Mars is Sailor Moon plus Kizaru Goku from Demon Slayer.
I love it.
The Fire Pillar.
I love it. Have a seat. What is your name?
Shadrick Breaker.
What is it?
Shadrick Breaker.
Shadrick. That's a cool name. Say hi, Shadrick. Hi, Shadrick.
What's up?
What's up? All right, Shadrick. What's your name? What's your question?
What's your Dragon Ball Z moment as Broly?
You know what? A lot of people ask me whether or not, like, which Broly I like best. Because there's the OG, right? The guy from the original movies. And he was just like a murdering maniac, right? He was just always like destroying planets and beating people up. And all because there was a baby next to him when he was in his crib crying. I'm sorry, that's kind of a lame backstory. But then when the new Broly movie came out, and they gave him more backstory and they gave him more background, you felt like you understood a little bit more about why he was the way he was. His dad, right? His dad was really controlling and even wore that collar that he would shock him with, right? Horrible. I love the new Broly because as an actor, there's a lot more substance to the character. And even though Broly yells 95% of the time, and he only talks 5%, it's the 5% that's my favorite. My favorite was in the new movie, in the Broly movie a few years back, when he was telling the story. Where's Bannerbuster? Stand up. See that green thing around his waist? Did you guys see the Broly movie? Do you remember the story? He told the story. He was stranded on this planet with his dad, and there was this giant creature on the planet, and Broly made friends with him. And it was his only friend on this deserted planet. And his dad got mad and shot the creature's ear off. That's how big the creature was. That was his ear. And Broly wears it around his waist to remember his friendship with Bob. I loved recording that moment so much because it was a tender side of Broly that you never saw, ever. And I loved it. And even though it didn't take long to record, I kept wanting to do it over and over again. Like, we would do the scene and the director would be like, all right, that was good, let's move on. And I'm like, can I do it again? And the director would say, no, it was fine the first time. I'm like, yeah, but it's such a beautiful moment, I want to do it one more time. That's how you get directors to hate you, by the way. If you want a director to hate you, ask him if you can do something again when you've already done it right the first time, because it's really fun. It's really enjoyable. And those moments, those Broly moments, those are my favorite. Give it up for him. Give it up for Jared.
There's one quote that set your horror plays, and then still Mars said, in a minute of Mars, I'll chastise you.
Yeah! And we had one more?
Did you have a question? Yeah, you. Yes, you. You had your hand up.
Do you have a
Last one, because we do
question?
have to let.
Come on up here.
to his booth. But feel free to head over to Vic. And
Yes, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to be back over my
chat with him
table.
over there.
I know I've had the chance to meet a lot of you, but I'd love to meet all of you. I've got a lot of shots over there from a lot of different shows I've done, and would be honored to sign something for you. What is your name?
My name's Ray.
Hi, Ray. Nice to meet you. Say hi to Ray.
I grew up watching a lot of Ouran High School.
We love Ouran High School.
Anyways, I grew up watching a lot of your panels, but I see like lots of times when a lot of fans come out, they go out their heart to you, and sometimes you get touched by it. I just want to know, what are some of the most emotional or like most touching stories you've heard from your fans?
When you've done this as long as I've done it, Ray, you have the opportunity to have a lot of wonderful experiences. And I have had more than I ever deserved. I think some of the most, I've received thousands of emails over the years, and I try to respond to them because there are so many people out there that are just hurting. There are probably some of you. You came here for this weekend to get away, right? To forget about whatever junk's going on at the moment and have some fun, right? But I know that there are a lot of people out there that gravitate even toward sci-fi, anime, video games for the escape because because it gives them some joy and it brings some happiness into their lives, and they're struggling with something. Could be an illness, could be a loss of a relationship, could be any number of challenges, right? So the privilege that I've had to talk with fans and interact with fans on a much deeper level than just, I like that show, I like that character, it has been the greatest privilege. And right after Fullmetal Alchemist came out, I started having a lot of fans that came to conventions I was at who were amputees. They had lost a leg or lost an arm in an accident, and they would come up and they would say, this show and watching this kid press forward and push forward in the midst of all of these challenges made me believe that I could do it too. And that's the kind of thing that'll just rip your heart out, Because most voice actors, and I would dare say even actors, when they go in to shoot a movie or when they go in to record a TV show, they don't know how it's going to be received, do they? Mark Hamill had no freaking clue how Star Wars was going to be perceived, right? They're shooting these movies and they don't know how it's going to come out and what it's going to be like when it's released. And it's the same with voice acting. So after we do these shows and then to come out to events and to meet so many wonderful people who express to you how much that show meant to them, how much that character helped them through a difficult time. That is the greatest gift you could ever give any of these actors. It's not an autograph. I don't want to make anybody mad at me, but it really isn't. It's knowing that we did something that meant something to someone. So those kind of experiences, I've had hundreds of them over the years, and they're my favorite part of this career.
I see so many, especially like when I watch many of your channels online, because that's what I grew up with. Every time I got home from school, I would always look at my favorite voice actors because I aspired to be one. I really looked up to you a lot.
Thank you.
It's
I am
kind of
so
surreal
honored.
right now.
And then we're sitting here chatting.
I kind of feel out of it, the spotlight everywhere.
Well, Ray, it is a pleasure to have you here. And thank you so much. Thank you. Give it up for Ray.
So So, like I said, we have to let this amazing gentleman get back to his table. But feel free to head over, chat with him, because as you can tell, he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy. And he loves his fans. You know, as you can tell. I mean, let's hear the idea for a second.
Yeah, ditto. I did.
He
But,
likes to tease me.
let's give it up for Vic one last time. Come on,
Thank you,
George,
guys.
let's give it up for Vic.
I love you guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'm going to be at my table. Come say hello, okay? Thank you.
All right, Leo.